Is good afternoon. How's everybody's day today? Sounds good, sounds good, sounds good. I always like to hear about awesome days. So let's get started. Unfortunately, that's the last Pet Shop Boys song you'll hear from me today. I did get 5 in though, because in a non-twisted world, in 2.5 hours, I'd be sitting in the Cardiff Arena watching them live. That's okay. I'll get over it. No one feel bad. All right, let's start with, I don't know what. Well, you do.
Reeser from Old Monroe, Missouri. I needed to buy a birthday cake for 3 family members. I told the woman I wanted each name in a different color and told her what colors I wanted, and this is what I got. Sam Red, Brandy Blue, Samantha Yellow. All right. Oh. Yep. And here's the cake they made for Valentine's Day. It says, I love you, I'm going to pay cash because this is from my mistress and I don't want it to be on my credit card. Lindsay Keene, I believe, in East Lansing, Michigan. My roommates and I were looking for hoodies and we found this one from Salt Lake City, Utah. Well, you know, it's from Utah, but it really screams Idaho. Tracy Stritter in Calgary, Alberta. I walked into the building where I work one morning and saw this. I have no idea why he was strolling around like this. Let's just push in if we can. Okay, I have my keys and my phone. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Hannah Vance in Winfield, North Carolina. I found this wedding photo at a yard sale. Look at that. Well, you know what they say, a bride in the hand is worth 2 in the... I don't know what they say, actually. It looks like she's photoshopped into the hands like that, and then I found this picture from their reception. Tiny, tiny little bride. Sammy Reeser?
Right, so just before we move on, I have to make this statement. You saw this, right? And so it was kind of funny because they read and said, Sam Red, Brandy Blue, Samantha Yellow. Does anyone notice the fact that Sam is not in red, Brandy is not in blue, and Samantha is not in yellow? We really need to raise the standards for our cake writing staff in wherever this place is. Holy Christmas. All righty. Probably way too much analysis of an Ellen video, but I'm watching that thinking to myself, well, but it doesn't, they didn't even do it right if they thought they were doing it right. Yikes. All righty. Steve Scott, save us, quick.
Okay then, put it on me, sure. Okay, as usual, every day we've got our shiny shift books. 2 winners, and let me just check. So we have Donna Lumsden and Patty Scott. Come get your books and start reading. Yay. Thanks, guys.
Well done, well done. Yay for the winners. Hey, do make sure that you have, you grab your books, because I think the pile is getting a little tall with the books that we haven't given out yet. So
yeah, and 2 more days of winners, guys, and then we're done.
2 more days of winners, and then we're done. It means this is not the week to stop coming to the 9 and 4:30 calls. You never know what could happen. So 2 things that were announced today I wanted to make sure that you saw and bring to your attention. The first is our Quantum Leap for Young Adults contest that we have out. So anyone of you who has a child or a grandchild between the ages of 18 and 28, if they want to enter our contest for a day with Gary Keller teaching Quantum Leap for young adults, they just have to simply write an essay. The details are in the email. The essays are all due back to your team leader in your market center 2 weeks from today on the 17th of June. The event happens on the 25th and 26th of June. It is a full day with Gary, and then I think a half day on the second day with some other proctors, putting the information that Gary taught the day before into action with the students. The added bonus that we threw in there was the grand prize winner will receive a $500 scholarship to be put towards their education or education expenses, or if they're already out of school and don't have any student loans to pay off, they can put that towards either job search or business growth expenses. So a little added benefit for your kids and grandkids to kind of get involved and write that essay. And that essay is on leadership, by the way. So even if they don't want to participate in Gary's program and win, I encourage you to encourage them to sit down and write an essay on leadership, because I think everyone needs to be thinking about leadership right now and what that looks like for them and why it's so important to make sure that you're honing your leadership skills for your future. So do blast that out to whomever it is in your world that might qualify. And again, that is for your families only. They have to be either KW kids or KW grandkids for that. One thing I will mention that I mentioned the last time I talked about this was my thought that you could also do the same exact thing inside of your database. Run the exact same contest and choose a winner, even if you don't want to add the bonus of a scholarship. Pay for one of your kids or grandkids from your database to go to Gary's program, and I think you'll find it's a real winner of an idea. So just to see if you want to push that out to your folks as well. The other thing we announced was a save the date. Make sure that you have it in your phones or your calendars, scribbled on the back of your hand, wherever you're keeping dates nowadays, and that is next Thursday, June the 11th at 1 o'clock. We will do a June sales rally. Most market centers haven't had sales rallies since the flip of the year in January. And so we want to make sure that we continue that tradition, bring everybody together, have a whole lot of fun, get you all the information that you might need to move forward. Next Thursday, June the 11th at 1 o'clock. My goal is 100% attendance. So that means 450 people on the Zoom call. So that means about 10.1 times the people that we have on this Zoom call. So I'm going to deputize all of you to be in charge of driving that attendance. Scroll through the participant list today and see who else isn't on here. Make sure you text them and call them and get your friends and everybody else to that sales rally. All righty. Any questions, comments, concerns, issues that you have going on before we dive into just one additional thing for the day before we wrap? Anything going on in your world? Any challenges? Any successes? Karen Mulreed, you're muted again.
I want everybody to remember that Taylor Bierbauer is joining us tomorrow at 4:30. Don't miss it. He's going to be talking about appraisals in this market, how to handle how they're handling multiple offers and over asking. If there's anything else you want him to address specifically, please let me know, and then we'll get the question to him before the session starts. Otherwise, we'll be taking questions in the chat room that we'll be monitoring.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, for those of you who don't know Taylor, he's great at what he does, and we really need to have some expertise on the appraisal side right now, because I think everybody who's out there doing business is either dealing with this issue or worried about dealing with this issue. So be sure to tune in. I'm sure it will be worth your while. Anything else? Any other questions, comments, concerns, issues that we should deal with? Remember, this 4:30 always started as a end of day Q&A. So I'm always going to ask that, whether you have anything. Yes, Sonali.
About the essay. So what is the age limit you said? I couldn't catch it.
For the contest, it's
Uh-huh.
18 to 28. The
18 to 20.
contest, yep,
Okay.
18 to 28, and it's in that email. So do check the email that went out. It'll give you all that information.
Okay.
Quantum Leap for young adults, perfect for 18 to 28-year-olds.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? All righty, so last thing for today, I know you spent a little time with Debbie yesterday, who got us started on the conversation of what you're doing to recast your goals and to see what that looks like for you to make sure that your income does not suffer from what we've just been through and what we may be going through in the next couple of months. And make sure that you're on target to hit your financial goals. And so picking up where Debbie left off yesterday, I want to just get really specific. So how many of you, just by a quick show of hands or a quick thumbs up or clappy icon, whatever you're going to use on your screen, how many of you did the exercise that you were to do either before or just after Debbie's conversation with you yesterday, which was figure out where you're supposed to be based on the business plan you wrote in December. Where are you supposed to be right now on June the 1st? So after 5 months, where are you supposed to be in things like listings taken and under contract and income versus where you actually are, and calculate the gap, the delta? How many people did that exercise? Okay, well, a few of you. So I will take heart in that some of you did it. If you didn't do that, go ahead and do that, because you can't figure out the path forward until you know exactly where you are and where you're supposed to be, right? I've said this before. It's kind of like having a great map and you know where the destination is, but if you don't know where you are on the map to start, there's no way to get to the destination, right? So now that you've taken that step of calculating the gap, the delta of where you might be. Now, for some of you, understand, you may be ahead of where you thought you'd be. The last 10 weeks have not been a dreadful disaster in terms of business. As a matter of fact, more of you may be ahead of where you're supposed to be than behind where you're supposed to be, right? Because of the speed of what's happening in the market. So here's what I want to just give you today as a thought. And I'm going to, if that's okay with you, I'm going to share on the whiteboard. Everyone seeing the whiteboard? Everyone is familiar with the GPS, right? And the GPS is or the 135, I should say. So the 135 is that one big goal, 3 main strategies, and then 5 action items for each of those strategies. And so what I want you to think about right now is the one main goal is where you're going to be 30 days from now, right? You just need to really picture and visualize where you're going to be 30 days from now. And the 3 things I want you to focus on are listings taken, properties under contract, and your income. And so knowing that you have, this is like building a mini business plan, right? Your mini business plan is all about how many listings will I take in the next 30 days? So next to that, you're going to put a number. How many properties will I put under agreement in the next 30 days? You'll put a number. And how much will I earn in the next 30 days? You'll put a number. And then what I want you to do, so I've kind of done this work for you. I've built the 1 and the 3 for you for the next 30 days. So you don't have to worry about that. Your task is to figure out the 5. What are the 5 action items that you're going to take in each of these categories to be certain that you are where you're looking to be, which ultimately speaks to these numbers, right, in 30 days? Does that make sense to everyone? Again, it's not a hard concept, and yet I think that sometimes we get confused when we talk about a 1-3-5 about, well, what's the 1 and what's the 3 and what's the 5? So I wanted to make it as simple as possible by saying, here's the 1. The 1 is your vision for 30 days from now. And how you're going to get there in your business is by focusing on these three things: the listings you take, the properties you put under contract, and the money that you make. And so your task between now and Friday, because I don't see you tomorrow, I mean, I will see you, but I won't see you tomorrow at 4:30 because Taylor will be speaking to you. So between now and Friday, I want you to figure out what the rest of that looks like. What are the 5 pieces of all of that? Right? And I think for Paul and for Karen and for Tammy, I think, yeah, Paul, oh, what's funny is that the 3 of you are all in a row right in the middle. Paul, Karen, Tammy. Is Bill, did I see Bill McNamara? He's in the wrong spot. We're gonna have to move him up into that line. Yeah, Bill, you're like in the Cindy Brady spot instead of where you're supposed to be, but that's okay. So so for our mortgage partners, this same exercise is valid for you. Like, where do you want to see your business in the next 30 days? And then you just need to replace the listings taken and the under contracts with 2 metrics that drive your business. The money part stays the same, right? And continue to build those 5 action items to make sure you're driving for a 30-day result as well. Does anyone have any questions about what I'm asking you to do? Sorry, Paul, say it again.
Said fabulous.
Yeah, no, and you know what? It really is a simple process that allows you to stay right on track. Because if you're wondering what you're supposed to focus on, well, now you have exactly those 5 things in each of those categories. What action am I supposed to take? I don't know, wake up, look at that 1, 3, 5 and say, okay, number 1 says, call Maria Smith because she said she might put her property on the market. Well, that's a 30-day action item that needs to get done so that you can move her forward, right? Maybe number 2 is lead generate for listings 2 hours a day, or 1 hour a day, or 30 minutes a day, or whatever it is that you're doing. Maybe number 3 is run a Facebook ad for properties that are struggling selling, or for people who can't get their home sold, or for, we were talking about in the marketing mastermind earlier, maybe you're running a Facebook ad based on the fact that you have a program to put people on the market and keep their families safe, right? Are you marketing that? Are you telling people that you're the realtor they need to hire if they're concerned about people coming into their house, because you have a plan for that, right? So that's how you're building those action items. What specifically am I focusing on to make sure I end up where I want to be 30 days from now? Make sense? I want to be clear. Oh, and Nancy Morgan's on too. I left Nancy off. I didn't mean to leave Nancy off. You're in like the Marsha Brady spot, I think. So we have to kind of maneuver you as well. Here's what I want you to be really clear about. If you don't take these steps to get the next 30 days under control and understand exactly what you're pushing for and exactly how you're pushing to do it, you haven't earned the right 30 days from now to say, I don't have the business I want. I'm not making the money I wanted, right? Because you didn't take the step 30 days earlier to plan it out, right? Plan the work and then work the plan. You've got to do both. You can't just do one. And so we're going to have a conversation 30 days from now based on what you wrote down and really talk about, hey, these little mini business plans, here's why they work. Here's what I found. Here, I focused on these things and here's what showed up. It's not a coincidence when these kinds of things show up when we plan it and then work the plan, right? So take responsibility for that as a business owner. Understand that the employee you needs from the CEO you a plan, because the employee you is far too willing to just wing it. And so CEO you needs to come to the table and say, we're not going to wing it for the next 30 days. We're going to get really on purpose and we're going to focus on these things because this is the plan to get where we want to go. Does that help in terms of recasting the goal and giving you a mini business plan to start working towards the recast goal? Any questions or comments on that? Any excitements around it?
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
All right. I love it. I appreciate those of you who were genuinely excited and those of you who faked it. I appreciate it. All right, guys, if there's nothing else, I'm going to leave you to your task, because now's a perfect opportunity, since we're ending a little early, to start on your action item building. By the way, staff members on this call, same goes for you. It's not about listings taken and under contracts, but you're not immune from this exercise, right? We all have to figure out what those two things are in our roles and start diving into those and create those action plans, right? And so team leaders, if you could make sure that that's reiterated again, and we'll review that on our group staff call on Friday morning. Guys, it's always a pleasure to spend time with you. I'm seeing some more of you in the market centers each day, so I love seeing you in person. I wish I could give you each a big hug, but we're still not allowed to do that. So you have to take a virtual one from me for the rest of the afternoon. Have a great night. Enjoy your dinner. We'll see you back here tomorrow, 9 a.m.